name is Rachel, and today I'm bringing you my TBR for the 2022 Buzzwordathon Reading Challenge. So each month we get a new buzzword that we need to read. I think they do like a full readathon the first week, but I usually just try to read one book every month that meets the challenge. So if you want more information about the Buzzwordathon, I'll leave Books and Lala's announcement video down below. I think they have a Goodreads group, etc. So without further ado, let's talk about the books I'm planning to read to meet each of the challenges. Let's get started. So the first month, January, the challenge is to read a book with like who, what, when, where, why in the title. So I'm going to be reading What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. I've heard tremendous things about this author, but I still have yet to read one. And this is supposed to be a retelling of The Fall of the House of Usher, I believe. And this is an e-arc that I got, so I'd really like to get it read sooner rather than later. And like I said, I just really want to read a T. Kingfisher book. I think it was the Twisted Ones that was really, really popular. And then I think there was even like another one before that. The Hollow Places, that's what it was. So I've heard amazing things about this author. I would really just like to have read something. And this one's kind of short. I think it's only like, I think it's less than 200 pages, I believe. So we'll see. We'll see how long it is when I get into it. But I thought this would be perfect because it has what in the title and a shorter book to get me started in January. But it does have like the creepiest cover, I think. So maybe it's going to be completely terrifying. I don't know. We'll see. So February, we need to read a book with pronouns or possessives in the title. And so I picked I Hope This Finds You Well by Kate Bear. This is a poetry collection and obviously has some pronouns in the title there. And this, I'm looking so forward to this. I read one of her collections last year and really liked it. This is one I'm looking very, very forward to though, because she basically creates these type of poems on her Instagram and they're just always fantastic. So basically she takes like letters and messages that she gets that's like criticizing her and makes it into kind of like a found poem, using the words from the message to create another, like almost like a response back to them using their own words. And it's, oh my gosh, they're so good. And I believe this is an entire book of these and I'm just so excited to read this one. So again, that's I Hope This Finds You Well, poems by Kate Bear. In March, we need to read a book with a location in it. So I think I'm going to be reading Packing for Mars, but I think I'm going to try to read the kids edition that's going to be coming out in April. I've been wanting to read more Mary Roach since within the last few months because I just read Spook and I really, really, really liked it. So I thought this would be an even greater way to get some more Mary Roach in because A, it's going to be shorter, and B, this is something that I could share with the kids at school to get them interested in these like scientific elements. This one I think is just kind of what it says. It's information about what it would be like in Mars and getting ready to be in Mars, like the food and maybe not having gravity. So I am super excited to read another Mary Roach book, and Mars is technically a location. So I'm going to count this for our March book. In April, we need to read a book with the words big or little or something like that in the title. So I'm going with Big Friendship, How We Keep Each Other Close by Minato So and Anne Friedman. I've heard about this on some bookish podcasts and it just sounds really interesting, especially in this kind of climate we have now where we are a little bit more separated from everybody else in society because of the pandemic. And, you know, I think a lot of I think it's just really trying to keep friendships going, especially when you don't get to see people as much as you used to and everybody's kind of burnt out. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one. I think it will be a great, great read. And then in May, we need to read a book with a direction in the title. So I'm choosing the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I know this is featuring a book club that reads either like horror books or true crime books, I don't remember which, and then a vampire shows up and then they have to figure out what to do with him now that he's in the community. I've read a couple of Grady Hendrix books and they always seem very campy and kind of like funny, but also actually horror-y. So I'm excited to read this one. I've been meaning to since it came out, and I just haven't made it. So this will be a great time to kind of push myself into making the time for it. In June, we have to read a book with the word all in the title. So I'm going to be reading One for All by Lily Lainoff. This is an own voices kind of gender reversed story of the Three Musketeers. And I think this would be a great one for my student book club. So I'd really like to give it a read. I think this would be a very fun historical read for the group. I try to switch up the genre. So this could be a really, really fun historical fiction for us. So I'm excited. I think this will be fantastic. I also plan on reading The Three Musketeers this year just for reference because I've definitely seen the movie, but I'm not sure I ever read the book. So all the Three Musketeers stuff this year. In July, we're supposed to read a book with like a book-related terms in the title. So I picked a cozy mystery that I recently just picked up, and that is The Cracked Spine by Paige Shelton. This is the first book in the Scottish Bookshop mystery. And I am pretty excited. I really don't know what it's about other than it's a cozy mystery set in a bookstore in Scotland. I actually accidentally picked up the third one first, and when I started to look at it, I realized it was the third book, so I put it off for a while, and then I finally have picked up the first one. I'd like to start with the first one, so let's jump in this year and get this read, because I've really been into the cozies lately. I think they're just a lot of fun. In August, we're supposed to read a book with items in the title, so I don't know if this counts or not, but I'm going to count it anyway. I'm reading The Poisoner's Handbook, because handbook's an item, right? This is Murder and the Birth of Forensic Medicine in Jazz Age New York. I was actually recommended this book, and I think it would fit perfectly. This actually will work, I think, for another couple of challenges that I'm doing throughout the year, so I think this will be a good pick, and I am excited about it. I don't know anything other than the fact that we're looking at the forensic side of poisonings. That's really all I know. And then in September, we needed to read a book that had the words light or dark or some variation in the title. So I'm going with The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafran. This is a book I've been wanting to read. I'm going to try to incorporate it into as many different reading challenges as I have to really push myself to read this. And I think it's going to be fantastic. I don't 100% know what this is about, to be honest, but I've heard it's fantastic. I've been recommended this book several times, but I know it's a historical book that involves books somehow. I don't know if it's a library or a bookstore. I know the series title, The Cemetery of Forgotten Books, obviously is dealing with books, so again, I don't know if we're dealing with just books in general or a library or what, but I'm super excited. I really, really want to get this one read this year. And then in October, we need to read a book featuring creatures or animals, so I'm going to go with Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I feel like I'm one of the only people that has not read this yet. This is another one that I've been highly recommended, and I know the movie's coming out sometime next year, so I thought, let's get this one read, let's make it a priority, and crawdads count as a creature / animal, so there we go. Then in November, we have to read a book that ends in ing. So I'm going to go with Where the Dead Sit Talking. This is a book I anticipated reading in November before I saw this challenge, and it just happens to have ing. So that works well. This was one of the options we had for our November book club pick this year, and this was the second most picked title. So we're probably going to be reading it this year. I don't know much about this at all, other than that it's coming from a native voice. And it's set roughly in the 80s, and I think it's supposed to be kind of like a coming-of-age story. That's all I know, and that is just a fierce title. So that's November, and then in December, we need to read a book with numbers in the title, so I'm going to pick up The 12 Dates of Christmas by Jenny Bayless. I think this is just about, it's a cute little holiday romance where I think she goes on 12 dates. I don't know if it's to prove that she's not gonna find somebody or is a last chance. I don't remember why, but I think she's going on a series of dates right through the holidays, and of course, obviously one of them has to work really well because this is a romance. So The 12 Dates of Christmas by Jenny Bayless. So there you have my picks for the Buzzwordathon for the year. Let me know down in the comments if you've read any of these books. What are some books you're planning on doing? What are some recommendations you have for other people? Would you guys be interested in seeing some recommendations that I have for each of these challenges? Let me know down in the comments. Let's talk some books and some buzzword challenges. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in another video soon. Bye!